But I would just like to gently warn the Secretary of State that if he intends to run a contest on which member can harangue him the most on a crumbling hospital, that is a challenge to which our 72 Liberal Democrat MPs say challenge accepted. Under the Conservatives, the new hospital programme has absolutely ground to a halt. And we know the terrible stories of nurses that run bucket rotas and all the rest. We have the worst of all worlds at the moment. There are trusts such as mine in West Hertfordshire who are chomping at the bit to get going but can't and are being held back. There are other trusts that have capital funds that they want to spend but they're not allowed to because of outdated rules. And of course there are industry concerns that with just one top-down centralised approach, which the Conservatives had, that could decimate the competition in that industry when we need a thriving industry to rebuild our hospitals and our primary care. What is his response to that approach?
Firstly, can I welcome my honourable friend back to her place. We work constructively when we're on the opposition benches together, and regardless of the size of the majority on this side of the House, we intend to work constructively with her this side of the election too. By extension, can I congratulate her colleagues on their election? I have discovered, Mr Speaker, I have 72 new pen pals, and they are all sat there on the Liberal Democrat benches and have been writing to me about a whole manner of projects, and I will, myself and my colleagues will get back to them. But
local in my area, in the West Hertfordshire Teaching Hospital Trust, in 1 month alone, we lost 843 days to social care backlogs. That burden is often taken up by families and individuals to take that cost. And not only does that impact those, but the rest of our NHS healthcare. I welcome the talks about cross-party work together, but would the Ministry Secretary of State also consider greater support for unpaid carers, including paid carers' leave and a statutory guarantee of regular respite breaks?
I warmly welcome the honourable member to her place and also say to her that she's absolutely right to raise the plight of unpaid family carers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Urgent Treatment Centre at the West Cornwall Hospital in Penzance was closed under the Conservatives at night 2 years ago. And this has put pressure on Cornwall's only emergency department at Treliske and along Peninsula, where routinely 20 ambulances, blue light ambulances, are parked outside, creating a new metallic ward at the front of the hospital. I mean, that situation has had a detrimental impact, and of course, including avoidable death. Will the Minister meet me and colleagues to discuss this issue and with local NHS to see how we can restore the emergency services in the area?
Thank you, Mr Speaker. In North Norfolk, as you've alluded to, my honourable friend, we've suffered in particular from unallocated units of dental treatment being moved to other parts of the country. The ICB has been told it will have to return unused money this year back to the Treasury. Can he commit to protecting unallocated dental funds in my constituency?
Mental health pressures in the farming community are rising, with the Farm Safety Foundation survey finding that 95% of farmers under 40 agreed poor mental health is the biggest hidden problem facing the industry today. So will the Minister work with colleagues in DEFRA to improve access to the NHS mental health services in rural areas and support the continued rollout of rural health hubs?
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My constituents have struggled to get pre-diagnosis ADHD and autism support for their young daughters. Now, we can't diagnose children at a very young age, but that doesn't mean families don't need help. Will the Minister confirm what engagement he's going to have with support organisations such as the National Autistic Society to ensure that best practice means that families aren't struggling for support?
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Liberal Democrats spoke about care a lot during the general election. At the heart of our plans was our pledge to introduce free personal care. Could ministers please confirm whether or not they do intend to open cross-party talks with other parties, and if so, whether free personal care will be on the table as one potential option?
Minister. Can I thank the honourable lady for that question, and indeed for the way that the Liberal Democrats approached the issue of health and social care in the general election.